The guy scrubbing the toilet and the guy writing the paychecks both need to see themselves as leaders. That's what we're going to talk about today on the Manlihood Mancast.
Are you ready to live life to the full? Are you ready to rise up and live a life of honor? Are you ready to boldly step into a life of courage? This is the Manlihood Mancast, and here's your host, Josh Hatcher.
Gentlemen, welcome to the Manlihood Mancast. I'm your host, Josh Hatcher, and I'm really glad that you guys are here. Listen, we have got lots of stuff going on. We've got contests that are available at manlihood.com/contests, and I want you to go there, and I want you to enter. We've got a Valentine's Day contest, and if it's not up there, it'll be up there soon. We've got a great knife from Haynes Knives that we're giving away, so if it's not there yet, keep checking back because it'll be up there soon. It's at manlihood.com/contests. Enter it, tell your friends, and you can have a chance to win for free. And if you want to win extra chances, or you want to get extra chances to win, you can send me $1. Every buck is another chance to win. All the information is available at manlihood.com/contests. And if you want to be a part of a brotherhood that wants to help you grow, please join the Manlihood Man Cave. It's our private Facebook group where men can help men level up. I'd love to have you there. Toilets and Top Hats is the name of this episode, and I love the picture and I love the idea that the guy that is scrubbing the toilet and the guy that is writing the paychecks, they may not have an equal pay scale, and they may not even have an equal amount of value that they're adding to their organization, but they both have an equality of value as a person. They both have responsibilities, and they both should see themselves as leaders. Today we're going to talk about how real men lead. You know, I believe firmly that leadership belongs in all areas of life, every area. You know, I don't care whether you are looking at how you interact with your family or how you interact with your workplace. I don't care whether you're the top of the ladder or the bottom of the ladder. Everything in your community, in your life, in your relationships, even your own self-improvement require leadership skills. You need to be able to lead yourself. You need to be able to lead your family. You need to be a leader in your community, and you need to be a leader where you work. And if you can view yourself as a leader, you will then be able to apply those principles of leading others as you're leading yourself. You see, it's this big cycle. And I know that, you know, we talk a lot about, you hear, we've got too many Indians and not enough chiefs, which is probably not politically correct, but you know the old concept, right? That, you know, you've got too many cooks in the kitchen. I understand that, but I'm not talking about people filling the titles. I'm talking about people living up to the qualities and the skills that you need to have in order to lead, because you can lead at any position. Leadership needs no title. You don't have to have an official title. You can be at the bottom of the rung, and you can still set the tone and take on the responsibility. There's a job that I had where I had a responsibility to do this job every day. I went to work, and leadership was not at a place where she could lead well. She was trying. She had some health problems, and honestly, she had a staff who was just not wanting to do the work. So here I come on board, and I'm at the bottom. I'm the little guy, but I'm the guy that has to, in order to do my work, everybody else has to do their work. And I just kind of stepped up, and I said, all right, this is what I need. I need you to bring me X by this time. I need you to bring me Z by this time and Y by this time and bring it back to me, and this is how I need you to bring it. If you don't, the work doesn't get done. Let's work together and make it happen. And I was kind of seen almost in a supervisory role of these people. I wasn't paid to be a supervisor. It would have been easier to just let it fall apart, but then where would I be? I would have had no job. If it all fell apart, if the company failed, I failed. So I saw myself as a leader, And I tried to act in that role without being too bossy, without being cocky, without even trying to get credit. It was just a matter of making sure the work got done right. Somebody had to do it. And I remember when I had an offer for another job, which is another story because this other job had an even worse leader. And it didn't work out well at all. But I remember when I left to go to this job, which I thought was going to be a better deal, that boss cried because she knew what a difference I had made in keeping things running. You know, it wouldn't have happened if I demanded a title or expected a title. It happened because I led from the bottom. And I'm not saying this to be like, oh, look at you, Josh. I don't care where you're at. Are you scrubbing toilets? Then scrub the toilets to the best of your ability. Help the people that you work with to get their job done. That's what we do. That's how it works. Because I know that when you do that, you get noticed and you get more opportunity. Leadership is not about the title, it's influence. Leadership is influence. The very nature of leadership is not about demanding obedience or getting privileges. It conveys influence on others. And, you know, if you honestly look at it, people aren't just looking to obey a title, but they'll follow the example of somebody who's a positive influence on them, somebody who strives to help them improve. That's how you lead. That's how you help people. And I believe that leadership is service. You know, if we go through all the great historical leaders who led people well, the ones whose goals weren't fame or fortune or victory or domination, but serving their people, their country, their community, their circle, those are the people who we see in a positive light. Those are the people whose histories we can appreciate and remember because they served a greater vision, because they served the people. And, you know, that's why we use the word service whenever someone has done something to serve and done something to lead, because that's what it is. Now, I do think that we are facing a leadership crisis in the world. All you have to do is ask any guy about how leadership is at work. I think usually a lot of times people are a leader because they've been there the longest. And so they automatically get promoted and they automatically get a position, and they have no idea what it takes to actually serve the people. They just know the work has to get done, and I'm going to bark orders until they get done. And I'm going to treat people badly because I feel bad about myself. That's really what happens so often. And that's not leadership. I think we're facing a leadership crisis in America in terms of our political spectrum. And I'm not saying that from one party side to the other side. I mean, I think one side is more right than the other. But that's neither here nor there. I think that across the board, we have a problem with real leadership and with good leadership. And I think we need to set that example, men, wherever you're at. You know, if you have people that are under you because you're in a position of leadership, because you have a title, I expect you to learn how to lead. Get some leadership books. Listen to some leadership podcasts. Go to a leadership seminar. Tell your boss, I need some skills if I really want to lead these people well. And hopefully that boss has enough leadership to recognize that that needs to happen, and they invest in you so that you can do that. But if you are not in a position of leadership, invest in yourself and do the same thing. You know, if you're not listening to leadership materials or reading John Maxwell or doing something to get those leadership traits and qualities that are in you to nurture and grow, then we will continue to have a lack of leadership. You know, and I'm not a guy who thinks that women can't lead. I think women can lead too, and I think we lead together, and I think that we complement each other. But I do know that for a long time, men led with the assumption that their maleness is what gave them the right to lead. Their maleness gave them a special privilege. Don't lead that way. It doesn't work. It doesn't help anybody. And it just, creates a mess. I'm not talking about smashing the patriarchy. You guys know me. I am not a Marxist. That's not my intentions. We've talked a lot about that in the past. But I do think that men, as we lead, we need to lead with the true heart of service. There's honestly nothing that makes me happier than seeing a person who leads an organization scrubbing the toilet. The person that, 100 years ago would have been wearing a top hat because they were at the top, bending down to do the work that needs to get done, to set the example. And we need to lead this way as we're leading our families. Are you serving your family? And not just going to work and earning a paycheck. That's not leading. I work hard, so I've earned the right to do what I want, and you guys are just going to do what I say. That's not leading. Are you teaching? Are you equipping? Are you helping? Are you serving? I think that self-sacrificing love is service. I think that when I put my needs behind their needs, now I need to make sure my needs are met. I do. But I need to make sure that their needs are met first. And when I do that, and if I do it properly and in a way that is healthy, then I'm leading and I'm setting the example. Especially when I do take the time to take care of myself and take care of my needs. Make sure that, you take a shower, or that you work out, or that you eat right, that you go to the doctor, that you get your teeth cleaned, that you do the things you need to do. You take care of yourself. If you need some time alone, model that so that they can learn that you also have to take care of yourself. But don't lead in a way that just demands and expects people to follow. Be worthy of following. Character is, honestly, I believe, the very first part of leadership. I want you to think of every bad leader that you know. Everybody that's ever been in a position that's done a horrible job. What do you think of their character? I believe that your character is the first thing that gets reflected in your leadership. If your character is crap, you're going to be a crap leader. You need to have integrity. And that is the first rule. If you don't have integrity, then it's nothing. I watched this show on Hulu called The Dropout about Elizabeth Holmes and the medical company that she started and worked with, Theranos, I believe it was called. And, all she wanted from the time she was a little girl was to be the next Steve Jobs and to own a corporation and to run a company. And I watched that and I looked at the failure time and time again of leadership there. Just horrible leadership. And it was rooted in the fact that I think these people had good ideas. I think they actually had a vision, and I think they believed in their product. I think that they believed that they could make it work. But there was a lack of integrity from the beginning, and you know what? It fell apart. And it came out in the way she led. That's just one example that's out there. You can look that up, read the news stories, and you can see what happened in the Theranos scandal, and you can see that it was a lack of leadership. Wherever it is that you're at, if your character is flawed, your leadership will be flawed. So don't assume and don't think for a minute that your character doesn't matter. And make sure that you know and that you understand that leadership is not about privilege. It is not about honor. I think that, some of those things may be a side effect that comes along with it sometimes. But I think a lot of people want that. I see it a lot too, like whenever there's an open position, people scramble for it because it's going to give them some responsibility and give them some prestige. And where were you when that position wasn't open and the work still needed to be done and the person that was in that job was burning out and needed help? Where were you? Now you want it because you want the credit. Now you want it because you want the paycheck. To truly lead means that you get behind the vision and you do the work to get the job done. And again, it starts with leading yourself. And I've struggled with that. I'm not a disciplined person by default, and so I'm learning to become more disciplined, and it's a hard road. But when I do that, my character is improved, and then my leadership is improved as well. So that's what I'm hoping for each of us, guys, is that we can take that time to dig deep and to do the work and to question our motives all the time to make sure that we are leading in a way that benefits people, leading in a way that makes a difference, leading in a way that can be respected and honored. Because if you're leading for what it gives you, that's not really leadership. Anyway, guys, that's what I got for you today. Please make sure you go to the Manlihood Man Cave on Facebook. Join the group there. We'd love to have you. If you're a lady and you're listening to this, because it does happen, and I've had a lot of ladies try to add membership to the group, and I deny it because that group is for men only. But if you're a lady and you're listening, I do hope that you're learning from what we're doing here, because I think there is good stuff that anybody can learn from. But I just want to remind you that the Manlihood Man Cave, our private Facebook group, is for men only. And that's because men need a place where we can connect with each other, where we can help each other grow. If you appreciate the work we're doing here at Manlihood, I want you to do me a favor. I want you to go to Apple Podcasts, go to Spotify, and leave a rating and a review. And I want you to share the episodes that speak to you with your friends. Let's get the word out about this. Let's make it happen. Let's get Manlihood in front of every man. I'd like to reach 1 million men. Let's make it happen, guys. All right. I love you guys. I care about you. And I'll see you next time.
If you want to be a better man, check out our website, manlihood.com, for blogs, videos, and more from our Manlihood team. Men, you can also join our private Facebook group, Manlihood Man Cave, where you can meet up with a band of brothers who will challenge you and help you on your journey of manhood. This episode is produced by Hatcher Media for manlihood.com. Be sure to subscribe and leave us a review on iTunes, YouTube, or wherever you're listening to the show. Tune in again for more of the Manlihood Mancast.